Okay, so you're a founder. You've built something amazing, something you've poured your heart and soul into. But let's be honest, the sales part, it can feel like a constant uphill battle. It often feels more like chaos than a real system. We're going to talk about a way out of that chaos.
So I want you to ask yourself, does this sound familiar? Does your day-to-day sales effort feel less like a smooth-running machine and, more like a total grind? Let's see if any of this feels a little too real.
You have a fantastic conversation. You think, yes, we clicked. You send the follow-up, feeling good about it, and then crickets. Just total silence. It is so frustrating, and it burns through your most precious asset, your time.
Or how about this? 1 month you're buried in leads. It's amazing. The next month, it's a ghost town. That feast or famine pipeline makes it impossible to forecast, impossible to plan, and it just creates this constant anxiety about where the next deal is actually coming from.
You spend your weeks, maybe even months, chasing people who seemed so into it at first. They asked for the proposal. They said, "This looks great, we'll review it," but they just never pull the trigger. It feels like you're the only one trying to push the rock up the hill.
And if we're really being honest with ourselves, this is what it boils down to, right? There isn't really a system in place. It's just you, the founder, pulling heroics. It's pure hustle, a little bit of hope, and just praying that all that effort somehow turns into predictable revenue.
But look, these daily frustrations, they're really just the symptoms of a much bigger, much deeper problem. The real cost of living in this chaos goes way beyond just a couple of missed opportunities.
The true cost? It's founder burnout. It's being the only person who can bring in a deal. It's all the wasted time, the wasted money on things that just don't move the needle. It's watching your company's growth stall out. And honestly, worst of all, it's that horrible feeling when the dream you're building starts to feel less like a passion and more like a prison you've built for yourself.
So here's the thing. You're at a crossroads, and you have a choice. You can stay over here in the current state of chaos with unpredictable revenue where you are the bottleneck. Or you can move over to the desired state, a system, one that delivers predictable growth, with a real process and a playbook, an engine that can and should eventually run without you.
And that bridge, the thing that gets you from chaos to system, from just hustling to actually having predictability, that's what we're here to talk about. It's called the founder's sales engine.
Now, I want you to pay close attention to that phrase, co-built system. This is not about someone handing you a PDF and saying, "Good luck." This is about installing a proven, predictable revenue engine right inside your business with you, side by side, every step of the way. And the architect behind this entire system is Ben J. Abbey. He's someone who has spent his whole career right there in the trenches, building and scaling the exact kind of B2B sales motions that you're trying to build right now.
I mean, the experience really speaks for itself. We're talking over $100 million in career B2B sales. He's been a 4-time founder himself with a successful exit, and he's got a track record of leading go-to-market teams from literally 0 to hundreds of people. This isn't just theory from a book, it's proven strategy from a 20-year career.
So how do we actually build this engine together? Well, it's built on 4 core pillars. We start with the precision pitch to make sure your offer lands with total clarity and urgency. Then we do an outbound overhaul to build a consistent pipeline. The deal driver puts you back in control of the sales cycle. And finally, repeatable results turns it all into a playbook you can use to scale.
And I really want to land this point because it's so important. This is not coaching. This is not motivational speaking. It is co-building. We're in it with you, hands-on, building the system together. And because we're so focused and collaborative, most founders start seeing real, tangible results in just 4 to 6 weeks. And this right here, this shows you the kind of impact we're talking about. Using these exact methods while leading teams at SADA, Ben helped take their win rate and increase it by 8 times, from a painful 3% all the way up to a dominant 25%. That is what happens when you swap guesswork for a system.
And of course, that kind of impact gets noticed. Tony Safoyan over at SADA calls Ben a force of nature and a strategic thinker. That's the kind of trust you build when you deliver results in the real world.
And don't just take my word for it. Here it is straight from a client. Carolyn from Paceto said, "We've increased the number of sales meetings we're having by 300% and are qualifying people 60% faster." Think about that. More meetings, and they're better quality. That is a game changer.
And here's another one for you. Jordan from GreenPaths saw results almost immediately, closing 5 new clients in the first 4 weeks. And maybe even more importantly, learned how to run a sales process that just closes way faster. It's all about building that speed and momentum.
So let's just tie this all together. The whole point is to take you from that founder-led chaos to truly predictable growth. It means you're going to shorten your sales cycles by weeks, build a pipeline you can actually count on, and ultimately create a playbook that frees you, the founder, to go lead the business while your sales team executes a system that just plain works.
So the message here is really simple. It is time to stop winging it and just hoping for the best. It's time to start winning, consistently, with a system that's actually designed for growth.
And that really brings us to the final and most important question. It's not about if you need a system. It's about when you're finally going to build one. So are you ready to stop being the engine and finally install one in your business?
If the answer is yes, or even maybe, the next step is super simple. Book a consultation with Ben. Have a real conversation about your business, your specific goals, and see exactly how this system can be tailored to drive your growth starting today.